If you want to learn how to get approved for a huge amount when it comes to PenFed Credit Union personal loans, even with bad or fair credit, you are at the right spot. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Studio Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you are to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to speak to you about PenFed Credit Union personal loans. PenFed is known in the industry as a very generous credit union when it comes to approving loans. And the cool thing here is that even if you have bad or fair credit, you can still qualify for a high amount personal loans from PenFed. What is PenFed? PenFed is one of the largest credit unions in the nation. It's an institution that is well run. It is a credit union, so it's not a for-profit institution. And that means that as a member, because you got to be a member, as a member, you are benefiting from very low, like high quality services at affordable prices. For example, you have the savings are great, the APRs on mortgages and credit cards are great, even personal loans. All right. And the cool thing about PenFed is that it also has a constellation of affiliated nonprofits. For example, the PenFed Foundation that offers a host of programs for military families, from unexpected events to their Dream Makers Fund for first-time homebuyers. The Dream Makers Fund is a great institution. Great. And as a member of PenFed, you actually will benefit from a lot of things. For example, you have, as I said earlier, you have a high-yield online savings. You have tax preparation services at a very affordable prices. You have discounts on everything from auto repair services and rental cars all the way to floral delivery. And we love the fact that PenFed has they have done great in the last 10 years in terms of technology. They have a very robust mobile app, and we love the fact that their interface, the dashboard, everything is user-friendly, wonderful. And they also have a real estate rewards program that is just fantastic. So if you're interested in that, this is a program in which potential homebuyers are paired by PenFed with a network of real estate agents as well as a preferred title provider. Okay, so this is just a snapshot. This is not an exhaustive list of benefits, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what you get when you become a PenFed member. Step number one, if you want to get a high amount PenFed personal loan with bad or fair credit, you need to join the credit union. And this is not just mandatory for PenFed, it is mandatory for all credit unions, okay? This is just a rule. Credit unions, they have members. They don't have shareholders, they don't have customers, they just have members. So you got to become a member. And the cool thing here is that you don't have to have any military, geographic, or professional affiliation. You don't have to have any biological affiliation. You don't need to have a family member who is in the military to qualify, okay? Non-military individuals, non-service members can actually qualify also. But the cool thing here is that if you are a prior or current service member or government employee, I'm talking about you work for the DoD, Department of Defense, Department of Homeland Security, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and the U.S. Public Health Service. If you work for those branches, government branches, you can qualify for membership ASAP. This is automatic. But if you don't work in those areas, you can still qualify. And the easiest way for civilians, if you will, to qualify for membership is to donate $5 or $10 to a charity, a foundation that PenFed sponsors. And in this case, you have a lot of foundation. I spoke to you earlier about the PenFed Foundation, Dream Makers. They also have the Military Officers Association of America. This is a great organization. I know people in that organization personally. And you also have the Veterans of Foreign Wars, and then you have the U.S. Army Warrant Officers Association. What I'm trying to say here is that if you have if you need more information, just contact their toll-free number 1-800-247-5626 and ask someone how you can join. It's very easy. It will cost you $5, and that's it. You don't have to have any military affiliation. And one thing I also want to say is that it's better to do a lot of stuff is just better to do with a PenFed over the phone or at the branch. I know we live nowadays in a technologically inclined environment. Everything must happen online, but when it comes to loans, when it comes to huge loans, when it comes to huge credit cards, especially if you have bad or fair credit, you want to use the advantage of human touch. You want to talk to someone, you want to have a conversation with someone so you can explain exactly what you're looking for so they can take care of you based on your credit spectrum. All right. They can offer you the loan you need, the credit card you need based on your credit spectrum, based on your credit score. So if you want to get a huge amount when it comes to personal loan and you have bad credit or fair credit, you want to get that from PenFed, you need to start a banking relationship with PenFed. PenFed, we all know, is a credit union. I'm not saying no to that. However, when you look at the grand scheme of things, PenFed is a financial behemoth. They have assets upwards of $25 billion. That's a lot of cash, if you ask me. Okay, that's a lot of cash. So that means that they do have an all-in service. They offer a lot of stuff from checking to savings to certificates of deposit, the CDs that you know. From they have IRAs, they have credit cards, they have auto loans, they have mortgage and home equity, including VA loans. They have loans, personal loans, and student loans. Okay, so but in today's conversation, we are focusing on the personal loan. But I'm just trying to put it out there so you have an idea that PenFed offers a whole bevy of products and services. For example, savings, and I strongly encourage you to open at least two accounts. You want to open at least a checking account and savings account. I don't care how much money you put in that in those accounts, but you got to have an account. Okay, you could probably, if you have $100 to spare, I would advise you to put 50 in the checking account and 50 in the savings account. The same, if you have 1,000, it will be 500. That way, you're able to build a relationship. This will go a long way towards allowing you to get a personal loan, a huge personal loan, even if you have bad or fair credit. Okay, for savings, for example, they have a premium online savings, regular savings, money market savings. For CDs, certificates of deposit, they have the money market certificates. They have the Coverdale Education Certificate. For IRAs stand for individual retirement accounts, and they do have IRA certificates, IRA Premier, and IRA savings account. Those are the names of accounts that they have. And for checking, they have their Access America checking. This is a great checking account, by the way. I used to have it, and now I no longer have it, but I do know that the service is perfect. And so it's up to you to sit around and see exactly what you want from their account, but you need to have at least two accounts, and those accounts must be assets accounts, not liability accounts. No, because loan accounts are liabilities accounts, credit card accounts are liability accounts. You need to have assets accounts in which the money is yours. I want to talk to you quickly about step number 3. So step number 1, you need to join PenFed. Step number 2, you need to bank with PenFed. You need to start the relationship. Step number 3, you got to do something that you should have done probably 2, 3, 4 years ago, or 2, 3, 4 months ago. Can you guess what it is? No. You have to check your credit score. Because the title of this video is how do you get a huge loan amount from PenFed with bad or fair credit. Now, let's just say hypothetically that what you believe that you have a low credit score, but what if in reality that was untrue? That was a mistake. What if in reality you are a victim of identity theft? What if in reality you are a victim of some kind of miscalculation by the lender who reported your transactional data to the credit bureaus? What if you had inaccuracies on your FICO right now, your FICO report? How would you know if you don't check it? So you have to check it. And the cool thing here is that you're not spending a penny. I don't want you to spend any cash to check your credit score, because there are a lot of avenues to check those reports for free. And one prominent website is annualcreditreport.com. This website came along because Congress a few years ago has mandated that the three credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, make available to the public, to each individual, at least once a year, a free copy of his or her credit report. So you got to go to their website. It's called annualcreditreport.com, and you get that. So you can call them toll free 1-877-322-8228. So they'll ask you for your basic information, your mother's maiden name, your social, and all that kind of stuff to identify you. It's important because that way you know exactly what's making up your credit score, and whether the score that you think you have is actually true, right? Remember that a credit score has 5 elements, right? So you have payment history that accounts for 35%, amounts owed 30%, length of credit history 15%, the mix of credit, that's 10%, and the account inquiries 10%. So those are the 5 elements that make up a FICO score. Again, we're talking about only FICO here, right? Because you also have the Vantage score, but those are analogous. They're approximately analogous, I would say, give or take. All right. So the fourth thing you need to do, if you're trying to get a huge personal loan from PenFed with bad or fair credit, you need to understand the PenFed Personal Loan. The loan that you're trying to get, you need to have a clear idea of what that loan is. And it's a loan that you can do a lot of stuff with. As a matter of fact, PenFed is known in the industry as one of the most flexible, the least rigid lenders, credit union lenders, when it comes to the use of loan proceeds. In other words, they will allow you to do whatever you want to do with the money, as long as it is legit and it falls within 5 categories. For example, debt consolidation. It could be home improvement. It could be transportation. It could be medical and dental. And it could be life and events. Remember that the APR on this loan is as low as 5.99%. So in other words, it can go all the way to 35.99%. The terms up to 60 months, that's 5 years. This is pretty good. The loans are up to $10,000. That's a tiny loan. No, $50,000, 50. And there is no early payoff penalty. There is no origination fee. There are no hidden fees, okay? And the cool thing here is that with this loan, you can actually get pre-qualifying. In other words, you can check your rate without affecting your credit score. This is really good. That way, you're not really risking losing, getting a hard pull without your consent, okay? And the cool thing here is that you can also select from multiple pre-approved offers. This is really good. I will show you within a few minutes how to apply and how you can see the pre-approved offers, and you can receive your money in 1 or 2 business days after verification. This is pretty fast for a credit union. So kudos to you guys, PenFed. This is really good. And one thing I want to say here is that PenFed never charges an application fee or an origination fee. There is no origination fee, and you can apply with a co-borrower. That's pretty good too. And who wouldn't want that? If for any reasons you don't qualify for this loan, as a matter of fact, the PenFed can approve applicants who have a FICO as low as 560, in some cases 545. Okay, so if you have a FICO of 545, you can still qualify. Now, your APR is not going to be 5.99%, of course. It probably will be 15% or even higher, depending on the mix of credit, depending on your risk spectrum. But that's just, it comes with the territory. There's nothing you can do about it, right? So, but if to increase your chances of being approved, you can actually apply with a co-borrower. This is pretty good too. I'll be right back, but after this, don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are still having a conversation about how to apply for a huge personal loan from PenFed with bad or fair credit. And step number 5, I want you to contact a PenFed loan representative. And this is important because the loan officer holds the keys to I wouldn't say your financial future, but your ability to get the loan that you want from PenFed, because he or she understands the ins and outs of the process. They know how he or she knows exactly the inner workings of loan underwriting at PenFed. So he or she can tell you exactly what you need to do and what you can expect, given your risk spectrum, given your risk score. Okay, and you want to actually you want to find a loan officer at a branch that is near to your place. In other words, you might have to go to that branch several times. So because of that, you want to have proximity. It's very important. And another thing you want to do is that you want to ask a few questions. For example, what type of loan is the best choice for your needs, right? Because PenFed has a lot of loans. Even though they only put one on the website, they do have a lot of loans, and they will tailor that loan to your particular risk spectrum, your particular risk credit score, if you want. And you also need to know exactly the APR, because the APR is an important element. You don't want to be surprised at the last minute, right? So you want to read the promissory note before approving everything. And you also want to ask, what paperwork would you need to provide? Okay, because an experienced and organized PenFed loan officer will know which documents you will need throughout the process. So make sure you find a loan officer who will educate you and explain each step and keep you in touch as your loan application proceeds towards closing. And you also need to ask, for example, now they put on the website that it will take 1 or 2 days, but based on our experience, the average time to funding is like 3 days. And in some cases, we've seen borrowers who had to wait for 2 weeks for their loans to be approved. And this is because the lender, PenFed in this case, was asking for additional data. And in some cases, the borrower were not providing the additional data fast enough for PenFed underwriters to proceed with the review. So it's all about being responsive. If they ask you a question, please get back to them. This is very important. Another thing I want to talk about is you need to also make sure that whatever loan you are asking for, whatever amount you're asking for, is in sync with your budget. In other words, you are able to repay the loan back over the duration of the loan. Step number 6, folks, you need to apply. So you have spoken to a loan rep. You have become a member of the credit union. You understood exactly what the loan is. Now you have to apply. Okay, so on PenFed there are two steps. First, you need to check your rate, and then you can apply for real. And check your rate is just PenFed's jargon for pre-qualification, because they are just going to run a soft pull to see to kind of gauge the waters, so to speak, when it comes to your credit, and see what kind of loan amount they can qualify you for, if any. So on the first screenshot, you can see the loan amount. They're asking for the loan amount that you want, the term, the reason for the loan, right? Remember, I was talking to you about loan consolidation, debt consolidation, all that kind of stuff, right? So you have to specify that here, and the borrower name. On the next slide, they are asking for your date of birth, your social security number, your email, your mobile phone number, your address, and your income. This is standard information. And on the third slide, they're asking you to certify, which you should do, then continue. And then normally, the fourth slide, once you click continue, you should be seeing loan options. You should be seeing a constellation of loan options. And this is what they call the soft pull, the pre-approval, the pre-qualification. In our case, as you can see here, we got a rejection letter. And this is pretty cool for 3 reasons. Number one, we actually did it intentionally to actually teach you guys what to expect. So we put intentionally fictitious, inaccurate data in the system. So we wanted to show you what a rejection letter looks like. The second reason is that you can read the rejection letter to see basically if this were to happen to you, what kind of content they will send you, because those are standard letters. Don't feel like they will customize it for you. No, those are, I would say, algorithm generated letters, so you can have exactly an idea of what to expect. And the third reason is that this makes us very comfortable, because it shows that PenFed system are working because we put wrong data and the system rejected our data because it's wrong. Okay, so this is pretty good. So normally you would see a list of loan options here, as I said. So then if you see one that you love, click on it. You will see all terms and conditions, and you will get a hard pull. Then once you sign the promissory note, you will get a hard pull. All right, folks, this is it for today's conversation. I was talking to you about how to apply for a huge PenFed personal loan with bad or fair credit. First, I gave you an overview of PenFed, and then I told you that the step-by-step, you need to join PenFed, bank with PenFed, check your credit score, understand the PenFed personal loan, contact a PenFed loan rep, apply, and just wait for approval. Thank you so much for your attention, folks. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.